I'm SJ.
I'm AJ.
And we the Connected Experience. Hey, bro, what's the Connected Experience?
It's a lifestyle, man.
A lifestyle.
Like-minded individuals, hope they do business. We interview rap legends. We interview entrepreneurs. We connect a lot of people just through the interviews. We prefer to connect people
on the interview, but it is really difficult scheduling two people.
Yeah,
So, but the premises of the Connected Experience is that we just a lifestyle podcast, society, culture, hip hop, whatever. It's just that's what it is.
Trivia.
Yeah.
I keep trivia because in case a nigga kidnap you, and it's like some crazy question to get you back that they don't think nobody know.
Yeah,
I know it.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a cool.
Mind full of clutter, but it makes sense. I always say it's like an episode of Family Guy. It's just like mad random shit going on.
Yeah, that's our lives.
And it might bring it back full circle.
So, I got a book pick of the week.
What's your book pick?
My book pick of the episode is The Art of Science and Respect by James Prince.
Before you say that's your book pick, my terms actually go with that because you said the art and science of respect. Not collectively, that means something, but what do they mean individually? So art is the principles or methods governing any craft or branch of learning. The art of banking, the art of storytelling, synonymous with craft, technique, skill, procedure. So that's art. Science, systematic knowledge of the physical or material world gained through observation and experimentation. That's science, the art of science. And finally, respect, esteem or a sense of the worth of excellence of a person. So,
The Art and Science of Respect. That's the book that I picked, James Prince. I actually haven't read the physical copy, but I listened to the audio version a few times.
How many?
Twice. I listened through twice. I already caught different things that I didn't hear the first time, so it's just a must-have to listen to read. If you don't know who Jay Prince is, guess what they about to do?
They about to find out why.
Because we got Jay Prince coming through to the Connected Experience. And this episode is being brought to you by Chef Rico Renaissance of South City Catering, because we got the chef out there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and we had him on the show and connected him with Chef Max Hardy. So that's the example of it even working for us.
Right.
Because anytime we have an event now that we had catering, hey, call Chef Rico. You know what I mean? So, hey, let's get into it.
All right, bet it up.
And since you on the promo, we go drop it next Tuesday because we drop on Tuesdays.
Oh, good.
Okay.
You got a Blackberry too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they try to clown us for that. So
I said, oh, wait a minute, it's another Blackberry in the room.
Hey, I get
that.
Yeah,
Blackberries going all around.
Focus. See?
Man, my cousin, he a DJ in Houston, DJ T. Gray.
Yeah, T-Gray, yeah.
These
are the last three people
been
in the
around
world
since he's about 17.
Blackberries.
Told me to tell you hello.
All in the same
Yeah,
room.
for sure. T-Gray, that's the homie.
Yeah.
We had Obama and Kim Kardashian for a while. Oh, you got one too?
Yeah. Because we still BBM.
Damn, I gotta do that again.
Mic
Was
check.
a 4-piece in
We
there?
got the last
Yeah.
4 people in the world
Yeah.
with Blackberries.
All right, mic check.
Y'all
All in the
twins,
same
right?
room.
Yeah, I'm AJ, that's SJ.
So the twins got the Blackberry. Oh, man.
I love my Blackberry.
Not good. Shit. Okay, let's go.
You straight? All right, so we back on the Connected Experience, and like we told y'all, we got the legendary Jay Prince in the house. What's up, Jay?
Oh, yeah. What's up, Detroit?
Yeah. We actually from Inkster, Michigan. That's 20 minutes from Detroit. So you and the music, you know the song "Wait a Minute, Mr. Postman" by the Marvelettes.
Yeah.
They from Inkster too.
And then Don
Beautiful.
Barton, he was
Don
from
Barton,
Inkster.
He was from Inkster.
Yeah.
Black billionaire.
Yeah, we embrace all of that.
Yeah. So we talking about the book, The Art of Science and Respect. So we listened to the audio book. We haven't had the physicals yet. And me and my brother, we listened to it together once and then separate because we like to see what we take from books that we read. So we both actually liked it, the leaders, followers, and loners, right?
Yeah.
So when you talked about that. So what would make a good leader to you?
Oh, a good follower. A good follower makes a good leader. You know what I mean? It's impossible to become a good leader without being a good follower.
Okay.
So growing up in Houston in the 70s and the 80s, who were some of the people that you followed to become the leader that you are today?
My parents, you know what I mean? I have to begin with, my foundation, which was in my household, you know what I mean? So, yeah, my parents.
Okay. And speaking of parents, you got a real interesting story. You got like 2 sets of parents. So, and in the book, you say that you wouldn't be who you are without either set of parents. Could you explain that more to people who haven't read the book and what you meant by that?
Yeah. In my book, in that chapter, I was a person who didn't tap into my biological father for I was almost grown.
Yeah.
But I had step parents. You know what I mean? I had step grandparents. I had a lot of hands, special hands that helped shape and mold me into the person I am today.
Okay, so yeah, that's kind of similar to us. So we know our father, but it wasn't until we graduated high school, probably when we was actually like 20, we actually met like his dad, and it was so surreal because we took a picture, we stand alike, everything about us the same. He just was light skinned. So my name is actually AJ, but our real last name is Simmons. So we really not even Jacksons. But I said we wouldn't even be the same people because AS and SS just don't sound as dope. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So of course we fans of Rap A Lot records like everybody is. So we got some questions about when you had certain artists. So what did an artist like Yuck Mouth do for your label as far as branching out?
Oh, well, Yuck Mouth helped bring a lot of that West Coast flavor to my label. You know what I mean? I had been in the Bay Area with Seagram, you know, for a while, but, you know, Yuck Mouth, you know, a member of the Loonies, you know what I mean, brought even extra credibility to my brand.
So speaking of Seagram, how did his death affect Rap A Lot Records? Because on the Posse Cut Bring It On, he definitely had the standout verse to me.
Yeah.
So
Well, him
like,
and Tula.
Yeah. So like Seagram seemed like he was set up to be the next, and then his death was like really uncertain. I mean, all of a sudden. So how did that affect like plans that you may have had for Rap A Lot Records? And is that a reason that you pulled Yuck Mouth? Because they both from the Ville, right?
Yeah, they both from the Ville. I mean, you know, first of all, before we even get to Rap A Lot, Seagram death, you know, hurt me personally.
Okay.
You know, that was around the 10th anniversary, and I had sent him a ticket, and he kind of rescheduled it for 2 more days. You know what I mean? If he would have came, you know, when that ticket was supposed to leave, he probably would be here with us today.
Yeah.
But definitely, you know, Seagram was he was one of a kind, man, and that was a big loss for myself and the label.
So for you first, and then secondary the label, and then another signing. Well, of course we in the Midwest is Do or Die and the Snipers. Like, how did that affect and shape and change Rap A Lot? Because primarily it was all down south before these people came into the fold.
Yeah, I mean the Midwest was definitely embracing us before Do or Die. That was a part of the reason I was able to tap into Do or Die. But, you know, when you have that kind of success on your brand, on your label, you know, it doesn't do anything but expand the credibility.
Okay, so yeah, be incredible. So what's like your favorite song that y'all ever released on Rap A Lot Records? And then I'm going to tell you mine.
Yeah, well, that would have to be Mind Playing Tricks, simply because, you know, everything was a build-up prior to that song. You know, I couldn't get radio, I couldn't get video. I had to be creative with the press to get publicity to sell records. After the Mind Playing Tricks, you know, everything went around full circle. You know, we could no longer be denied at radio and video.
All right. And speaking of Mind Playing Tricks, 7/9/18, We Can't Be Stopped actually turned 27 years old. So that's a big deal. And then a couple days ago, Pimp C album turned 12 years old. Pimpilation turned 12 years old.
Yeah.
Another pretty big release. But like, we've been listening to all these interviews with you since you've been on your press run. It's probably the most anybody had ever heard you talk. But nobody asked you about the Baby Geto Boys. How did that come about?
The Baby Geto Boy, you right about that one. Well, you know, that came about because we were trying to create a baby version of Geto Boys, which was, I think, too much trouble for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had their own thing with another midget in the group, and that was fun.
Yeah, so they came to y'all like that, or you ain't put them together with the midget?
Somebody did. You know, I don't recall exactly who it was, but I embraced it. You know, one of the homies put them together. I embraced it.
Okay.
Let them do their thing.
Okay, so and then of course from the book, people know that you big into boxing. What role do you see that you play in boxing? Because you had a lot of great fighters and was able to like build a lot of fighters. So like, what role do you consider yourself in boxing?
Yeah, well, I'm a manager in the boxing world, and you know, I came into boxing. You know, first fighter was Floyd Mayweather, and I helped lay that foundation that he's eating off for today.
Right.
So you know, my trailblazing in boxing, you know, speak for itself. I came into a lot of fighters' lives and helped turn them into millionaires.
Who you watching right now in the fight game?
Well, I'm watching my guy, Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? Shakur Stevenson is a silver medalist, of our prior Olympics, and he gonna be great.
He gonna be great. What about them twins out of Houston? Them boys cold, ain't they?
Yeah.
Out of Houston, yeah.
Yeah, they doing their thing as well.
Yeah, but them not your fighters, huh?
Nah.
Okay. So when we asked you about your favorite Rap a Lot song, my favorite Rap a Lot song is Tila, Incredible, off of Double Dose.
Yeah.
And me and my brother always joke, I either never want to meet somebody like Brenda Spencer or I do. I ain't gonna be hiding in no forests and shit, but it's one or the other. So you know what I'm saying. So it's a lot of young entrepreneurs and people who can be new to you who get in this book. Like, what advice would you have for them based on the book and just people trying to make it in this world today, especially with it being so different as far as music or whatever?
Well, first advice, I'm going to recommend they buy this book, The Art and Science of Respect, because it's full of a lot of blueprints and a lot of formulas to accomplish some of the things that I think they want to accomplish in life. You know what I mean? It's definitely a blueprint, and it's full of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of one that has went before them, and I didn't sugarcoat nothing. I just gave it to them raw and uncut.
Yeah. Right. And speaking of raw and uncut, you had a story in the book about where you had found a guy stealing, and you gave him the opportunity to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't tell the truth, but if he would have told the truth, how would the relationship have been after that?
Well, I believe when a man square up, that man can somewhat be trusted moving forward. A man that want to continue to lie is a deceitful man moving forward. Right, you know what I mean? It's just that simple. And I extended that invitation to the homie because I wanted to know, and he wanted to stick with a lie, and he reaped the benefits of a lie.
Right. You talk a lot in the book too about like how everything started to change when you wrote your goals down. This is actually a goal of ours, right? It was a few people that we wanted to sit with before we started podcasting. So this is how we meet them. We meet them. You actually was on our list. Right. So we started podcast to do an interview with a rapper named Esham. He big in the city, big independent.
I remember.
And we was like, who else would we want to talk to? We was like, we want to talk to Jay Prince. And then we was like, but why would Jay Prince talk to anybody? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you dropped the book. So talk about how important writing your goals down is.
Oh, man, it's a powerful thing to write a goal down and dream. You know what I mean? That's why I named the book The Art and Science of Respect, because when you're dealing with that art, you're dealing with an imagination, you're dealing with a dream artistically or something you may want. And then the science side of it is, the ingredients and different things that go into that art, you know what I mean? Which at the end of the day, like we're doing right now, y'all dream this, and then it took a setup, you know what I mean, a structure of getting me here. And at the end of the day, it's going to be respected because we're doing a great interview.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So the acknowledgments, I listened to the acknowledgments, and it was through listening to Rap a Lot, you always hear Jay and Chief, and then in the acknowledgments, you said, you say that Big Chief was like one of your most trusted people or whatever. Like, how did that relationship come about? Because you said he quit his job to roll with Rap a Lot, right?
Yeah. Chief came to me at a moment when things was low. You know what I mean? And when I say low, that was one of the moments when I walked away from, the streets. And the brother had a good job at the waterfront. But he definitely committed. He let it be known, I want to ride with you. And he did. And he, you know what I mean? I entrusted him with a lot of money, a lot of different things, and never have one penny came up short. He just rode and represented to the fullest.
Okay. And so y'all still got a great relationship today. Another person that we just know from reading the credits and stuff is Red Boy. So, like, talk about y'all relationship a little bit.
Yeah, Red Boy, another homie that's from the hood, from Fifth Ward. And, he's a guy I'm real proud of because I've seen him, like, evolve from ground level zero until he working with Mayweather right now, running his whole situation. So, it's a lot of homies, a lot of people that I was able to, share, my journey with that has evolved to millionaires and evolved to just great people, man.
Right. So during those 7 years, that 7 year transition that you decided to lead the game and come into corporate America, you was having problems, like all type of problems. But then you start like having problems with the government, and they put like 2 rogue agents on you. And the reason I'm talking about this is because there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out that don't think people do stuff like this. Yeah. But Freeway Ricky Ross, our uncle, so we know in real life that this type of stuff happens. Yeah. So could you talk about how that night they told you to pull over into the dark parking lot? Like, did you feel you already knew if you pulled over that was gonna be it, or did you sense more like once you didn't pull over there?
Yeah, well, the way that went was these guys had been like getting at a lot of the homies that worked for me, pulling them over, jumping on them, taking them to the station, cavity searching them, sending threats to them, what they gonna do to me, and all of this kind of stuff. So that night, around 2 or 3 in the morning when I pulled off, I got a special movement. I moved with a few homies, and we got structure. It's understood, how we roll. They put a DPS officer on me. It was the first time that I had been stopped and then asked to stop again somewhere else by an officer. Yeah. You know what I mean? This dude stopped me on the freeway, then asked me to exit the freeway and pull over into a McDonald's where it was black dark. And, I didn't think much of it, at that moment, because I'm thinking, okay, McDonald's, maybe it's a lighted, parking lot or whatnot. So when I pull over and I look to the right, and he told me pull fucking over.
Pull over there.
Through his, that speaker thing. And I looked over there and I saw a Jeep and a Cutlass. So I pointed, said, no, I'm going over here. You know what I mean? Because I saw a Shell gas station that was lit up. So I pulled over and went over to that Shell gas station, and the dude got out, why you didn't fucking pull over? I say, sir, I didn't want to think you was trying to harm me in that dark, and I didn't want you to think I was trying to harm you. What's the problem?
Right.
Oh, you were swerving. So right then I peep game, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times when they don't have no reason to stop you, they say you're swerving. I said, you got the wrong man. I said, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Ain't no reason for no swerve to be in my, steering wheel, and I'm not sleepy. And at that time, he asked me to get out, get out the car. No, he asked me where my guns were. I say, my guns down here under my seat and my hands on my steering wheel.
Right.
So he asked me to get out. I got out the car, and, I seen his eye contact from across the street, which eventually led to one of the officers by the name of Chad Scott. You know what I mean? The one that has been indicted today with 13 indictments. He came over, the dude had like black football paint on his eyes and a army suit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why is this dude talking to this dude? You know what I mean? I'm trying to put it all together. And to make a long story short, he came and wrote me a warning ticket and let me go. But when I got home, I'm confused because I'm like, these dudes trying to pull me in that dark.
Yeah.
What was they trying to do to me over there in that dark? And when I added it all up, I came up with it wasn't nothing good.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So when you mention those names, the song that really stick out to me is Scarface Look Into My Eyes, because he say, I can't get no sleep because Schumacher's been chasing me. And he talk about so much stuff, even how you said your guns was under the floor mat. I kind of hate that you said that, because that's where I used to keep my gun. Not that you said that, everybody go be breaking in cars. That's what they looking at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But how much of Scarface music is actually based on your stories? Because I know that's why you transitioned to Geto Boys and flipped them around to say, hey, here go the dope stuff, make it rhyme. And as we start listening, Jesse James, we know that's about you. He, of course, Scarface said that, but a lot of stuff that we now go back and listen to in Scarface music is actually about James Prince. So how much of that is about you?
Well, I never done a measuring tool on how much is it, but I definitely was an inspiration in some of Faith's writing, but by no means do I want to take credibility away from Faith, because Faith's dope.
Yeah, he definitely top 5, and people don't like to place him there because he's from Houston.
Yeah, but definitely, he and I together is doper.
Yeah. So at one point, like with the younger generation, I don't know if they was like catching on to Rap a Lot, and then you signed Juvenile and Know Your Clap come out. Like, what did that do for Rap a Lot? Because besides Mind Playing Tricks, that got to be the biggest Rap a Lot song ever played on the radio. Know Your Clap, when that came out, that had the whole world going crazy.
Yeah, it definitely was a nice one. You know what I mean? I don't know if it fall in line for the second one, but that was a song that actually was a solo song for it wasn't Skip. It's the other Wacko.
Yeah.
And we had a meeting one night after something. I heard that song. And I'm like, hey man, I need all y'all to kick a verse on this song.
Yeah.
It's the one. So that's how that song came to fruition. You know what I mean? I got everybody to be on that song, and yeah, it definitely added to our credibility as well.
Okay, so one of our biggest debates is being Rap a Lot fans and brothers. It's the Geto Boys with Big Mike and the Geto Boys with Willie D. What album would you have to pick to represent the Geto Boys besides We Can't Be Stopped? Because we know that like that's what put it over the top.
Yeah, I definitely would start with the We Can't Be Stopped, and from there, I would have to go to that On That Other Level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On that other level of the game. But Big Mike, what he done? One Geto Boys album, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, he was dope, but by no means was he his album better than the original Geto Boys.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to the Geto Boys, the chemistry musically with Willie D facing Bill, it just meshed better for me.
But the song that stand out the most with Big Mike, Crooked Officer. Like,
Yeah.
I can't hear Willie D on that song, whether he was a
Yeah.
Ghetto Boy or not. Like that's be the debate. I'm like, Willie D couldn't have did that, but then Big Mike couldn't have did Point of No Return in
Right.
'96. So it
Right.
kind of balanced out. You know what I'm saying?
So you got a chapter that stood out also, Pennywise, Dollar Dumb, and you mentioned that athletes and rappers are actually caught up in this. Could you explain that, how the chapter go in the book?
Yeah, I mean that Pennywise Dollar Dumb, was actually, written about a situation with Swisher House.
Yeah.
And of course, I wanted it not to criticize Swisher House, but I wanted the future, the youth, to know to not be afraid to embrace their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I felt like that was a situation where I offered the greater deal. You know what I mean? But yet and still, it was embraced because of another color. I'm gonna just be real.
Yeah.
And that came turn around and bite them in the ass, in a major way. So I was putting it out there because of that more so than anything.
Okay.
And let's talk about Larry Hoover, if you don't mind. Now, coming from the background me and my brother come from, we was gangbanging at one point, so it's King Larry, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you did that interlude with Larry Hoover, and then years later it pop up on Jeezy album, like was it a phone call from him to you to ask to use that? Because so many people didn't know that came from a Geto Boys album in a whole different generation. And like I used to be telling the young homies, like, nah, bro, that's off the Geto Boys. That's off the Geto Boys. So how did that work? Because Jeezy's song was pretty big with that.
Right, yeah. I would I don't remember clearly, but I'm sure if Jeezy touched that, it was cleared some kind of way from my system. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even think I heard that song to this date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I got to hear that, man. Yeah.
And then do you still have a strong relationship with Larry Hoover to this day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's my brother, man. His wife, my sister.
Yeah, because y'all just was in Illinois. You got the key to Harvey, Illinois, actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's family is from Harvey, Illinois.
Oh,
So
okay.
she was like
Yeah.
really happy about that. You know what I'm saying? So that
I was
pretty dope.
too, man. Much respect to the mayor and all those brothers from.
So what actually happened when you get the key to the city? Do that mean like you can stay at all the hotels for free? Like you come like what? Because you hear people get keys to the city, but nobody ever explain like what that means.
Well, I'm going to have to test it. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to test it and see what kind of leverage that key give me because I don't know yet.
You got 2 days in Houston now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard the 2 days in Houston. What's your goals with the book? So I know you write goals down. What's some personal goals that you have for the book?
Man, one of my goals is that people really, embrace the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I share in this book. And, years from now, months from now, however long it take, I like to hear them let me know that this book changed their life.
In some type of way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Another thing that stood out is that you said you had to call Brian Turner and tell him what color clothes he had on.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of people who don't know who Brian Turner is, if they seen the NWA movie, that's the same dude Ice Cube had to run up on, and you would think he learned his lesson. So, so excuse me. After you let him know, like, I could see you, I'm really that presence. Like, how did things go moving forward with Priority?
Because y'all actually did another deal after that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was, it's an interesting thing, when you're dealing with powers that be. They'll respect you more when you, like, make them respect you versus giving them the invitation just to respect me as a man.
Yeah.
And that was one of them situations, it was one of them situations where, this guy was in a power position and he wanted to, keep his feet on my neck after I had proven myself, you know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, brother, all you can do is ask him nicely, hey, man, get your feet off my neck.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? After that point, one had to make one offer they can't refuse.
Okay.
That's how they went.
Okay, so we know like you love UGK. Let's talk about the Pimps. Of course, we love Pimp C and UGK. My favorite UGK album is Riding Dirty. Right, I felt like they have good albums, but Riding Dirty is kind of like We Can't Be Stopped. It's like, this is it right here. You know what I'm saying? And we always debate too about that verse on Murder. I feel like that's when Bun B stepped out. Like that was his breakout performance, and then after that is when he got the ear. Like how did just knowing the Pimp affect like the type of music he made once he got to rap a lot solo?
Oh, well, Pimp, in his own words, will tell you how Rap a Lot, the Geto Boys, inspired him. You know what I mean? When I heard the song A Pocket Full of Stones, I almost burned my Lexus up. Whatever car that was I was in, getting down there to Port Arthur to try and sign Pimp and Bun B. And, I couldn't because they was obligated. They had signed with somebody else. So my objective was to, make sure they was good.
Yeah.
And I explained it to them, hey, man, y'all need anything, just let me know. And it was from planting that seed, I ended up being able to sign them solo. And both of them, Bun B and Pimp C, on the solo tip.
And I heard Bun say that that actually his solo album was actually the highest debut album on Asylum or something like that.
Yeah.
And to think that Jive didn't want that to happen, like why wouldn't you know what I'm saying? Like stop it.
Right. Yeah, we wasn't having that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pimp had got locked up, and for the life of me, I couldn't understand. Why y'all don't want this man to make a living until Pimp come home?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we went in. I wrote about that. Was able to maneuver some things around and got Bun his freedom.
Cool. So let's talk about Andre Ward because he retired, but he really retired on top. So how did you feel to see him go? Like even though it was a great decision for him because he could still do so much other stuff in just the regular world or the business world, like that's a great fighter to see leave your stable.
Yeah, it is. It was one of those pain happy moments. You know what I mean? Where you hate to see a man go, and at the same time you glad to see him go on top. With all his mental efficiencies and all of his money, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that outweigh, any selfishness one can have about wanting to see him in the ring again.
Yeah, so what's dope is like you was a real champion for the South and you broke open some doors, you, Luke, and now like your sons following in your footsteps, but they laying their own path because not only did they discover Drake, they got their hands on the young boys.
YBN?
Yeah, like, so how do that feel as a parent seeing that they learned something feasible from you?
Yeah, no, that make me feel good, man. They say you can tell a tree by the fruit it bears, so I'm looking forward to see some fruit where they concerned.
Yeah, that's dope.
And when building a team, you say the most important things are heart, loyalty, and commitment. So could you explain why those things are so important for somebody who's trying to put a team together or looking to be a part of somebody's team?
Yeah, I wanted to explain that because, that exists for me. You know what I mean? Now, for somebody else, it may be something different. But I want to give all the readers, everybody, a different perspective on building and doing things, you know what I mean? Because it ain't no one certain way.
Yeah.
But heart, loyalty, and commitment was real important for me, and I built my stable around heart, loyalty, and commitment. And I explained it in detail in that chapter, you know what I mean? So make sure y'all read that chapter because you got to have heart to be successful in this music industry.
Right.
And loyalty is second to none, you know what I mean, for y'all that's building a team. And most of all, if you're not committed, don't nothing work.
Yeah. Do you play chess? Because it seemed like every move you've ever made was calculated.
Well, I don't know how to play on that chessboard, but I do play it in real life.
Right.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better.
So you was looking at boxing and you wanted to really get down with Mike Tyson early on, and the powers that be stopped that. Do you think that they stopped it? Well, we know why they stopped it, but do you think like they took you as a joke just because you was coming from the hip hop world, or because you was just a black man, or both?
Well, you know, the boxing industry and the music industry is two cutthroat businesses. So, you know, wherever one have an opportunity to cut your throat, you know, simply meaning to knock you out of the game or, you know, take something from you or whatever the case may be, you know, that's going to happen. So, you know, they saw me, and the powers that be knew that I was a serious player because they know where I come from, and they know I turned nothing into something in the music game. So when all of them saw me coming into the boxing world, you know, they was trembling.
Right. And explain to people, why do people call Jay Prince when they need stuff stopped? Because like the situation that you just stopped, but people don't understand, like you stopped the T.I. and Little Flip thing before it got out of hand. You tried to warn Big and Puff to go, and there's probably countless other people that we don't know that you talked to. Why is everybody coming to Jay Prince to stop this stuff?
I think it's a matter of respect. I think it's a matter of having a track record, you know, for a long time of being successful. And the other piece is having a word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a word that go with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, that's better than anything.
Yeah.
So you got any connections to Michigan besides Floyd and with his boxing?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan, hey, man. Michigan, you know, I tell everybody, this whole Midwest, and Michigan embraced me, man, when the South wouldn't embrace me.
Yeah.
So my connection is for life with Michigan.
Okay. So where can people get the book?
Oh, my book is on iTunes, Apple, Tidal, Barnes & Noble when they restock. And what did I miss?
Well, it wasn't on Amazon. It's
Yeah.
sold out.
Yeah.
So Amazon, too.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's there.
Yeah. So y'all heard that voice in the back. You mind if we bring her to the mic too? Because
Come on,
everywhere
Julie,
she go,
yeah.
people hear her.
Yeah,
a lot of people
bring-
might not know who she is.
Let's bring Julie, the author of Pimp
Pimp
C.
C book. Yeah.
And the fourth person in the room with the BlackBerry.
Right, and they was literally just clowning us about these Blackberries. Like,
Hey, we got to keep
there.
it.
I get asked about this every day. Well, I was going through TSA at the airport, and they were like, "What is that?"
So you traveling as photographer, like,
Or his publicist. Like,
yeah.
No, Julie is an entrepreneur.
I know, because I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
she didn't write the book, and I just knew if you ever did a book, I thought she would write it. You know what I'm saying? But I still see you
after reading
involved.
Pimp C chapter. I mean, the Rap-A-Lot chapter in your book. So we thought that you would be writing it. So what's your role in traveling with Jay Prince on this promo run?
Oh man, it's complicated. No, I'm just the photographer. I'm just tagging along. No, I Jay had written a draft of the book with Jazz Fly, Jazz Waters. So, she had the basic elements of the story were there, but we kind of developed it, and I played a part in just editing it and bringing it to life and putting it out as a product, and putting together this promo run, which I think has been pretty epic.
Yeah, it is.
Dope,
Like,
dope. So a lot
And
of people,
he's willing to work too. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of artists aren't willing to
That's-
really be on the grind like that. So
yeah,
speaking
we know
of-
you're working too, because I seen you 7 in the morning on the radio station. I'm watching it on live. You know what I'm saying? So that
Hey,
was dope.
man, yeah, you know what I mean? I've been working all my life. I ain't scared of work. Work is a lifestyle with me, so
Yeah.
let's get it.
right. So Julia, a lot of people listening might not know where you're from, but we know that you're from Ozone Magazine, and that magazine helped actually shape Southern hip hop at a time where nobody was representing, and I mean nobody by the other publications. So how did you start out in photography and journalism?
I started out really. I used to read like The Source and Double XL, and I would see the little photo credits, and I'd be like, how do I? I didn't know how to get involved because I was in Orlando. There wasn't really anything going on industry wise, and so we had the Impact convention came out there, which was like a music conference, and the Boo and Gotti from The Source were there, and I was like, yo, how do I get down? So I started actually contributing some photography, and in the beginning I was trying to get down with another publication and do photography for them, and at a certain point it was like, well, it kind of took off on its own, and I would be at concerts and stuff like when a lot of the artists from the South were just first starting to come up, Pitbull, Plies, Rick Ross, these guys were just starting out, Jeezy, Slim Thug, and I would see how, the crowd was reacting to them. They didn't have record deals or anything, and I kind of, at first I was like, why am I the only one? Like, why isn't The Source here? Why isn't Double XL here? Like, why is nobody else, up on this? So, I mean, back then I would be the only, that's how I got to know most of the artists. They'd be like, who's this white girl with the camera? At every concert I go to in, Atlanta, Miami, she's there. So, it used to be that I was really one of the few people that actually were covering this scene. And I kind of was just in the right place at the right time because it started to blow up around that time. And I was really there at the forefront to capture it.
So her previous work she did with Pimp C, is that what like introduced y'all and that she was going to be instrumental in like being a good photographer?
Yeah, no, I look at Julie more than a photographer. You know what I mean? To me, that's like at the bottom of the barrel where she's concerned. You know what I mean? Julie has proven that she's a real entrepreneur in every perspective of the game. So when I chose her, I knew I was choosing a real soldierette. You know what I mean? To help me along my journey. I like to be surrounded with strong, good people, and she one of those people.
So now this book is going to go on the shelf with a bunch of books that's going to be respected throughout history. Now, you talk about a book that really changed your life, but what's another book? We're not going to tell them the book so we know that they read it. What's another book that really changed your life and helped with your vision and bring everything to fruition?
The Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bible. One of the greatest books on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Where the words are actually alive. You know what I mean? The words in that book breathe.
That's dope. And I heard you say Proverbs is like your favorite chapter.
Yeah, love Proverbs.
Yeah.
So, Julia, what was the biggest story that Ozone ever broke? What do you think the biggest story was?
Oh man, that's going way back. I'd have to think. I really can't think of I'm sure there is one, but yeah, off the top of my head, I mean, we were there for the beginning of a lot of stuff that happened in the South. I mean, I don't know about the biggest story, but the biggest artists. I mean, definitely like Pitbull, Akon. Like I met those guys when they were, nobody knew who they were yet. And I remember hearing Pitbull just freestyling on the radio in Miami, and I was like, who? It was like 3:00 in the morning, and I was calling the radio DJ like, who is this? And so to be able to see, and I toured for a while with Flo Rida overseas, and he has a huge international fan base. So like to be able to go to Australia or the Philippines with guys like that and see how they've taken it to the whole next level, just really going worldwide with it was just amazing. So, when I started out, I never would have thought it would take me like around the world, doing hip hop photography and all the other kind of hats that I wear, but it really did. So.
Right, and we spoke about Pimp C book. Could you tell people where they could get Pimp C book at and what it was like actually writing that book? Because what is that, 700 pages? That's a long book. I read the whole thing too.
I'm pretty thorough. I can't really do a half job. I got to do the full thing. So yeah, I wrote the Pimp C book. It's called Sweet Jones, Pimp C's True Life Story, which is actually a title he came up with. He was going to do an album with that title, but I wrote it basically with his mom's assistance, and she gave me hours and hours of just interviews. She would cook me dinner and just tell me Pimp C stories, and she was a great storyteller, and she actually passed away suddenly right before the book came out. Yeah. And I know this was something that she was very passionate about, just having her son's like true story told, because before the book, I mean, a lot of people had heard all these rumors about Pimp, and it was kind of like a lot of mythology, but to get to the actual truth of what happened and to be able to tell his story, I mean, it was a great experience. And the book is on Amazon as well, Barnes & Noble, Sweet Jones. You can pick that up, and it's for a hardcore fan. Like, you got to really be into it to read a 700+ page book. But that's who I wrote it for, is like a specific type of person who really wanted to get deep into it.
Now, Jay, you talk a lot about land. How important is land ownership to you?
Oh, very important. God don't make land no more.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I'm off into the land thing. You know, I wrote about the a trip to a penitentiary in my book, and what it did was it ended up having access, you know, going outside of the hood caused me to dream and want land. So it's an interesting story, and the gist of it is the power of having access to things outside of the hood
Yeah.
causes you to dream beyond, you know, what you see in the hood.
Now, some of that land is actually an island, right?
Oh yeah. I have a couple of islands, and that land, you know, that 1,000+ acres was plantation property.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? That once was plantation property. Now the scripting been flipped.
Yeah, that's dope. So, if you had to sum up your legacy in one word, what would it be?
Respect.
Respect.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of Jay Prince for advice. Who do you go to? Who do you look for advice? Like when you really need to kick it and you really need to talk to somebody, like who do you go for advice?
Oh man, good question. You know, one of the first places I seek for advice is like within myself and the Word of God. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to, you know, make sure I'm like balanced where the Word at to a certain extent, and from there, you know, man, I like tapping into elders. You know what I mean? That's why I'm off into this thing. You know what I mean? We're telling the youngsters to replace that IG with an OG.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think it's important to tap into a real solid OG.
Yeah, because OG want to see you do better, not the same mistakes that they had to make.
Right.
We appreciate you, man. We know
Hey,
you're on a tight time
appreciate y'all,
schedule, man.
twin.
Yeah, thank you.
And we just wanted to say, like, this is really the power of writing down the goals list. We said it before, but I don't know if people know. So we usually record on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
So long time ago when we first seen you, you was going everywhere. We was like, man, when he come to Detroit, we have to talk to him. Just because we fans of the culture, fans of rap a lot. So I messaged you. I was like, he probably don't check that. This Sunday, I said to my partner right here, man, fuck that, dog. I'm about to hit Julia up.
Yeah.
Before we walked out, I hit Julia, but we also got a partner right here filming. He hit her too.
Yeah.
She responded. I called my brother like, yo, Julia hit me back. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why we wanted to get her on the mic too, because that helped our goal come to vision, and we appreciate that. I also,
you know, women get things done.
Yeah. Oh, we keep women around us. Couple cats who, you know, with them things, but women. You had the Ozone. I actually used to do the Detroit part of the rap, man.
Oh, nice.
For the Ozone. So it's an honor to meet you in person. Jay Prince, man. We used to just hearing you talk a little bit on the intro. This is the most you ever talk, but our goal accomplished because you talked to us, and we appreciate that.
Hey, I appreciate y'all for having me, bro.
Thank you. And tell everybody where they can catch you on social media and where they can find the books at again.
Go ahead, Jay Prince
Well, you
Respect.
can catch me at Jay Prince Respect. Tell them the other piece, Jim.
and Julia Beverly, that's me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that.
All right, and y'all know y'all can catch us at TCE Pie across all of the platforms. We live by a motto, and it's a lifestyle, and that motto is, I want for my brother what I want for myself. Jill.
Yeah, like that.